All right, hello guys again. This is our weekly math video, or actually 2 videos a week almost, sometimes one, sometimes two. I wanted to go over a couple of our homework questions. I've been noticing that there's been a few questions, I think, on the homework that you guys have submitted. And I do want to go over a couple of these. This is the homework, 2 of the questions that I did assign on the homework the other day. I do want to go over these because it might actually, it'll hopefully help you instead of just doing some other, random one. But this can be applied directly to the homework that we're working on. All right. So we are continuing our work with literal equations. I know last week we were working with literal equations to where it was just variables, no numbers. But now that we have everything combined. We have the coefficients, we have numbers, we have variables, and we want to solve for a specific variable, right? So this is a skill we are definitely going to need going forward, especially when we start working with the different forms of lines, when we start graphing. So here we go. Both of these equations, they are your homework questions, 2 of your homework questions. We are solving for y on both of these. So I'm going to do this one first over here. We have 4x plus 1 equals 9 plus 4y. Our goal when we solve for any variable is to get it all by itself, simply put. All right, so we want to get that y right there all by itself. All right, so right now it's on the right side, which is okay. If I want to get that y by itself, the first thing I really want to do is get rid of that positive 9. I'm going to move that over to the other side. All right, so if that's a positive 9, I'm going to subtract 9 to get rid of it. Boom, boom, it's gone. Now, obviously, same rule applies. What we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other, right? So same thing there. If I subtract 9, I have 1 minus 9, so a positive 1, take away 9, that leaves us with a negative 8. All right, I'm going to drop down my 4x because that did not change. So I have 4x negative 8, which is the same thing as minus 8, equals, well, what's left is my 4y. My 9 was gone. Okay? All right, so we're pretty close to being done. That y is not by itself yet. It is being multiplied by a 4, so I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. This was kind of the aha moment for a lot of you guys the other day, is that when we're dealing with literal equations, whatever we do to get a variable by itself, we have to do it to all the terms elsewhere. So not just what we do to one side, we do to the other, but what we do to get the variable by itself, we have to do to all the terms on the other side. So not just the 4x or the negative 8. If we divide by 4 here, because these are not like terms, we have to divide by 4 on all the different terms, okay? That keeps the equation still valid. So divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Let's simplify now, right? 4 divided by 4, well, that's 1. We don't need to put the 1 in front of a variable, so that's just x, because those cancel out. Negative 8 divided by 4, all right, we got to be careful here. Negative 8 divided by 4, well, that's negative 2, or minus 2, same thing, equals y, because those 4's canceled out. Look at that. Is the y all by itself and positive? Remember, it has to be positive, all by itself and positive. Boom, we have just solved for y. If you also put it like this, y equals x minus 2, they are the same thing. I will accept either one. Some of us like to put that variable we're solving for on the left side because it's like reading a book, right? Going from left to right. Some of us just like to keep it as is. If the y was on the right side, I'll just leave it on the right side. Right now, it does not matter. It will be counted correct either way. Right? In the future, when we start dealing with point-slope form and slope-intercept form and all these different forms of lines, I do recommend it in this form because that's essentially y equals mx plus b right there. Okay, next equation. Here we go. We want to get that y all by itself. All right, well, if I want to get that y by itself, I got to look and see kind of what's going on the other, so on that side of the equation, and I have a positive 8x. Well, let's move it over to the other side. Let's get rid of it on the left. and then move it to the other side. So if that's a positive 8x, I'm going to subtract 8x. Those cancel out. I'm going to subtract 8x over here. All right, I'm going to rewrite my equation. Rewrite. Say that 10 times fast. 2y, dropping that down, equals, now this is essential, everyone. Essential. Okay, 18, negative 8x. I can almost guarantee you a lot of people without thinking could just be like, oh, that's 10, and put a 10 right here. 18 and then minus an 8x, are these like terms? They are not. They are not like terms. So 18 didn't change, and if we just subtracted an 8x, we'll just put that to the side. So we list it out as is. If we can't combine them, we just list it out. Okay. 2y, okay, right now the 2 is still being multiplied. So to undo that, I'm going to divide, just like we did in our other problem. If I do it right here, I have to do it on every term everywhere else. That is key. Please don't just do it on one term over here. So now I have y, because these cancel out, equals 18 divided by 2 is 9. Negative 8x divided by 2, well, we just simplify that negative 8 and the 2 right there. Well, that's a minus 4x. And just like that, we have solved for y. And it's positive. Okay. In the future, I would recommend putting it like this. Y equals, I'm just going to flip these terms, right? I'm just going to flip them. We can totally do that. Just make sure the signs stay with the correct term. If that's a negative 4x, make sure that negative 4x, that negative follows it, so it stays on in front. If that's a positive 9, even though there's no plus sign right here, it is positive. We know that if we list it out later on, we're going to have to put that plus sign right there. So obviously either one will work for right now because we did get that y by itself and it is positive. But in the future, I'm really going to want you guys to get in the habit of writing it like this, because once again, this is our slope-intercept form. Whenever we start graphing eventually, y equals mx plus b. All right, and we're going to go over more of that later. The point of this, though, is just solving for a variable. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.